Hello friends, this is Priyanka. Today we are going to solve a problem on dimensional and model analysis. In this video we are going to use the Buckingham's pi theorem and we have to show expression v is equal to under root of 2gh phi in the bracket d by h comma mu by rho vh, where v is the velocity through circular orifice, h is the head causing flow, d is the diameter of orifice, mu is the coefficient of viscosity, rho is mass density and g is acceleration due to gravity. So how we can write this expression? So if we observe v is the dependent variable and it is the function of all these variables. So we can write here v is equal to f of h d mu rho g. So if we observe all variables are here, that is h, g, d, mu, rho. So we have to write it in the bracket. Or we will take here this v is also dependent variable, so we can take this inside the bracket. So for that we have to write this equation as a f of 1 in the bracket v h d mu rho g, which is equal to 0, and we will give here as a equation number 1. Now we have to write the dimensions for these variables. So I have provided the link in the description box where I have given here the detailed explanation, that is how to decide the dimensions for these variables. So now we will refer here what is the dimension for this velocity v, that is v is equal to L t raised to minus 1, h is equal to L, d is equal to L, then mu, that is m L raised to minus 1 t raised to minus 1, rho density m L raised to minus 3, g L t raised to minus 2. So these are the different dimensions for the variables. Now if we observe these dimensions, then these dimensions is in the form of MLT. That means number of fundamental dimensions. How many number of fundamental dimensions? So we have to write here number of fundamental dimensions, that is m is equal to 3. So here number of variables n, and here fundamental dimensions we have to write here m. m is equal to 3. Now we know that number of pi terms. So here we have to use formula. So we are going to use Buckingham's pi theorem. So how many number of pi terms that we have to take? So n minus m. So n is equal to 6 and m is equal to 3. So here we have to take 6 minus 3, which is equal to 3. That means number of pi terms is equal to 3. That means we have to take pi 1, pi 2 and pi 3. So now for this pi 1, pi 2 and pi 3, how we can write here the equation? So if we observe, instead of f of 1 all these variables, we have to write the equation f of 1 pi 1 pi 2 pi 3, which is equal to 0. So we have to rewrite this equation number 1 in terms of pi term, in terms of this pi, that is f of 1 pi 2 pi 3 is equal to 0. Now number of variables in each pi term. So how to decide the number of variables in each pi term? That is we have to use here fundamental dimensions, that is m plus 1. So how many fundamental dimensions are there? 3 plus 1, that means total number of variables in each pi term is equal to 4. That means pi 1 contains 4 variable, pi 2 contains 4 variable, pi 3 contains 4 variable. Now in these 4, out of these 4 variables, m is equal to 3. That is equal to repeating variables. So this is very important term, because if pi 1 contains 4 variables, now out of those 4 variables we have to take first 3 variables that are repeating variables. So how we can decide these repeating variables? Now if we observe here, one variable should geometric property, then second should flow property, and third variable should fluid property. Now we have to find out what is the geometric property, flow property and fluid property out of all these variables. Now if we take v, now v is the dependent variable, so we have to cancel it because it is dependent variable. So we should not take as a repeating variable. So now we are going to decide these first three repeating variables. Now we will find out the geometric property. So geometric means what? Length, height, diameter. So if we observe here, that is this h and this d. So this h and d is the geometric property. So we have to select any one. So we will select here as a h. Then next is second variable should flow property. So how we can decide here as a flow? So flow means here if we observe this acceleration due to gravity and this velocity, these are considered as the flow property. But v is the dependent variable, so it is getting cancelled. So remaining is g. So we have to take here as a g. Then third variable should fluid property. So fluid property means what? Viscosity, density, that are related to fluid. So we have to select the third. So here density is also there, mu, viscosity is also there. So we will select here as a density. So we have to select any one. So third we will select here as a rho. Now if we observe this h is getting, now I will mark here. If we observe this h is getting selected, then g is getting selected and this rho is also getting selected. So now what are the remaining variables? So this v is, that is remaining, then this d is also remaining and this mu is also remaining. Now how to write? So this g, h and rho is getting selected. So now if we observe, we have to write this pi 1 term. So we have to repeat this, that is 1, 2, 3. These are repeating variables and we have to repeat these three variables in every pi term. And these variables we have to take only one time in each pi term. So now repeating variable is h, rho and g. So here I will write first pi 1, pi 2, pi 3. Then I will write h, 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 g, 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 rho, rho, rho. That is repeating variables, that is equal to m, which is equal to 3. Then we have to write here, or we have to give here powers. So for the first term of pi, that is for pi 1, we have to write a1, b1, c1. Then for the second pi term, that is pi 2, we have to write a2, b2, c2. That means we have to give the power. And then for the third pi term, we have to give here the power a3, b3, c3. But remember that the first variable should geometric, that should be same, h, h, h. Second should be flow property, g, g, g. And third should be fluid property, that is rho, rho, rho. So we have to take care. That is for first geometric property, what is the power? a1, a2, a3. Then for second flow property, b1, b2, b3 is the power. And third property, c1, c2, c3 is the power. Now next, that is we will take here any one. So for first we will take here as a v. Then we will second we will take here as a d. And then third we will take here as a mu. So now in this way, these pi terms are getting selected and this is very important step. Now we will find out the value of first pi term. So what is the first pi term? That is pi 1 is equal to h raised to a1, g raised to b1, rho raised to c1 into v. So we have to write that and then we have to take what is the fundamental dimension. So we have to write the dimension in terms of fundamental dimension. So how to write this pi 1? That is m raised to 0, l raised to 0, t raised to 0 is equal to. Now h. So what is the dimension for this h? That is l. And what is the power of h? That is a1. So we will write here l raised to a1. Then g. So g, that means l into t raised to -2. And what is the power? b1. So we have to make here bracket raised to b1. multiplied by rho that means m l raised to minus 3. We have to take bracket and we have to give power c1. And what is v? That is l into t raised to minus 1. Now we will again solve this equation. So if we observe, we have to first take m. So here m and power is c1. So we will write here m raised to c1. Then if we take l, then here is l raised to a1. Then here is l raised to b1. Then l raised to minus 3c1 and l, here is only l, and here we will refer as a power 1. So how we can write here? That is a1 plus b1 minus 3c1 plus 1. Then t. So here t raised to minus 2 into b1, that is minus 2b1, and here is t raised to minus 1. So how we can write here? T raised to minus 2b1 minus 1. So this is the simplified form. Now we will equate the powers on left hand side and right hand side. So first we will take the power of m, that is c1 is equal to 0. Then we will take here power of t. So minus 2b1 minus 1, which is equal to 0. So again if we simplify this, so 1 we have to shift to the right hand side and minus 2 to the denominator. So here minus 1 become plus and minus 2, that is minus half. So what is the value of b1? That is minus half. And what about then power of l? So a1 plus b1 minus 3c1 plus 1 is equal to 0. So if we observe here b1 is minus half. So if I take here minus half and here is minus 0 plus 1 and a1. So now we have to simplify this. So here this 0 we will not consider. So 1 minus half, that is half. So a1 plus half is equal to 0. That means a1 is equal to minus half. So now these are the powers. That is the value of powers a1, b1, c1. So now we will put this in this equation. So this is the main equation. So put the value of powers in this equation. That is pi1 is equal to h raised to minus half, g raised to minus half, rho raised to 0, because c1 is equal to 0 multiplied by v. So here v we will take as it is because it is having no any power. So how we can solve this? So h raised to minus half, g raised to minus half. So what is the power half? That means under root. And suppose it is having minus sign, then it is in the denominator. So we have to write under root of h into g, because both are having power minus half. Now rho raised to 0. So rho raised to 0, anything raised to 0, that is 1 into v. That means how we can simplify this? V divided by under root of hg. That is the value for pi1. Now in the same way we will move for the second pi term, that is pi2. So we have to solve in the same way. So h raised to a2, g raised to b2, rho raised to c2 into d. So now put the value of dimensions. So in the terms of fundamental dimensions, that is for pi2, m raised to 0, l raised to 0, t raised to 0. For h we will take l raised to a2. For g, l into t raised to minus 2 into b2, rho, m into l raised to minus 3 into c2, and for d we will take here as a l. So now again we will simplify this. So for l2 it is a2, then here is b2. So here we can, if we simplify this, here l raised to b2, here l raised to minus 3c2, and here is power 1. So we will write here a2 plus b2 minus 3c2 plus 1. So here this is the power of l. Then what is the power of t? So t raised to minus 2b2. And what is the power of m? So here m raised to c2. So m c2 is there. So now we will compare or equate the powers on left hand side and right hand side. So if power of m, c2 is equal to 0. Power of t, here is minus 2b2. So minus 2b2 is equal to 0. That means b2 is equal to 0. So power of l. Now here b2 is 0, c2 is 0. So a2 plus 1 is equal to 0. That means a2 is equal to minus 1. So now we will put here the value. So pi2 is equal to h raised to a2. So h raised to minus 1. G raised to 0, rho raised to 0 into d. Now anything raised to 0 is 1, 1. So h raised to minus 1 means what? It is in the denominator. So we can write here pi 2 is equal to d by h. Now we will take here the third pi term, that is pi 3 is equal to h raised to a3, g raised to b3, rho raised to c3 and mu. Now we will write this in terms of fundamental dimensions. So m raised to 0, l raised to 0, t raised to 0, which is equal to l raised to a3. Now g means l into t raised to minus 2 bracket raised to b3, and rho means m into l raised to minus 3 bracket raised to c3. And for mu, m l raised to minus 1, t raised to minus 1. Now here we will take power as a 1. Now we will again simplify this. So first we will take here on the right hand side m. So m raised to c3 and m raised to 1 is there. So m raised to c3 plus 1. Then for l, it is l raised to a3, l raised to b3, l raised to minus 3c3 and l raised to minus 1 is there. That means we will add here a3 plus b3 minus 3c3 minus 1. Then for t, it is t raised to minus 2b3 and here is minus 1. That is minus 2b3 minus 1. Now we will equate the powers on left hand and right hand side. So for power of m, c3 plus 1 is equal to 0, c3 is equal to minus 1. Then power of t, minus 2b3 minus 1 is equal to 0. That means b3 is equal to minus half. And then power of L. So here B3 and C3 value are known. So we have to put these values and we will solve for A3. So A3 is equal to minus 3 by 2. So now these powers A3, B3, C3 we have to put here. So A3 is minus 3 by 2. So H raised to minus 3 by 2. G raised to B3, that is minus half. Rho raised to c3, that is rho raised to minus 1 into mu. So here is pi 3 value. So now how we can simplify this? So here raised to minus 3 by 2. So when there is the minus sign, so we have to convert it into plus sign. That is, we have to shift this term to the denominator. Then g is having minus half power. That means we have to shift to the denominator. Then rho is also having minus 1. That means we have to shift here as a denominator, and there is mu. So now we will take here mu divided by h raised to 3 by 2 into g raised to half means what? It is under root of g, and rho. Now if I take here rho raised to 1 will be, if I shift this rho to the denominator, the power is 1. That means I can write here only rho. Now this h we can split into two parts. How we can split? So h raised to 3 by 2, that is equal to h raised to 1 plus h raised to half. Because how we can simplify this? 1 plus half means what? 3 by 2. So I will split this. Now h raised to half means what? We can write here h into, so here is not plus, here h is raised to 1 into h raised to half, because 1 plus half is equal to 3 by 2. So how we can write h root h? So we will write this h root h. So how we will write this? Mu divided by h into rho under root of g into h. So again we will here multiply and divide with v, because when we observe this pi 1 is equal to v by under root of hg. So if I multiply and divide with v, then how it becomes? That is mu divided by vh rho, and instead of v, now if we concentrate on this term, v divided by under root of gh, we will take here as a pi 1. So pi 3 is equal to mu divided by vh rho into pi 1. So here is the value of pi 2 and here is the value of pi 1. So pi 1, pi 2, pi 3, that we get all the term. So if we observe how we can write this as a f of 1 of pi 1, that is v by under root of hg, comma, then value of pi 2 d by h, comma, then value of pi 3, that is pi 1 into mu by rho vh, which is equal to 0. So now how we can write here? So if we observe for this function f of 1, the first term is the dependent variable. So for this first term, the dependent variable, we can shift to the left hand side. So v by under root of gh is equal to, so we will take here phi in the bracket d by h into pi 1 into mu by rho VH. So here in the bracket we have to take these remaining variables in the bracket, and phi we will take here as a constant because we have taken this f of 1, that is this is the function of all these variables, but v by under root of hg is the dependent variable, so we have to take here on the left hand side because this is the first value. So for the first value after f1 we have to take outside the bracket. So now how we can simplify this? So here v is equal to, we can shift this term to the other side. So if I shift this term, then we can write here v is equal to under root of 2g phi d by h comma mu by rho vh, and this is the answer.